Welcome to the Leadership Contrarian. I'm Michael Redmond, and this is episode number 3. There are 5 core elements your leadership must have to take your company to the next level. And it turns out that when you boil down all the leadership research and the literature of the past, you see 5 core elements rise to the surface. And when we as leaders fail to accomplish our goals, it's almost always because one or more of these 5 foundational elements are missing in our leadership. So today, I'm going to tell you what those are, why they're important, and give you one takeaway for each of the 5 so that you can start transforming your leadership today. So let's get going. In the first episode of the Leadership Contrarian, I said this would be a journey, a conversation about leadership from a more holistic perspective. Not just leadership as performance and not just leadership as personality. Definitely not leadership as that hustle dressed up as heroics, but leadership as something deeper. More human, more sustainable. In episode 2, we step back and name the environment leaders are navigating today. A world defined by volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. We called it VUCA. And we explored why leading well in that kind of world, it just requires more than grit, experience, or effort alone. Today, I want to introduce the framework that ties all this together. What we're talking about is creative leadership. And before I give you the 5 core elements, I want to slow us down for just a moment, because if we skip the larger context, this framework won't land the way it's meant to. Why do I care so much about leadership? If you haven't guessed by now, I love leadership. Not the Instagram version, not the loud, charismatic, always on stage version. I love good leadership, great leadership, what I would call creative leadership. And creative leadership is the act of bringing something new into the world. It's the expression of becoming, of building, or of taking responsibility for more than just yourself. Whether it's a new bakery on the corner, a nonprofit addressing hunger, or a 100-year-old company just trying to adapt without losing its soul, none of it happens without leadership. The real kind, real leadership. Leadership that takes vision and turns it into reality for the good of all concerned. And here's the contrarian truth most people miss. Leadership is not just about achieving results. It's about building something that can actually sustain those results without costing you your joy, your family, or your integrity. That's where the 5 core elements of creative leadership comes in. Over the years, working with founders, executives, and leadership teams, we've seen the same patterns again and again and again. When leadership breaks down, it's rarely because of intelligence or ambition or effort. It's because one or more of these 5 elements is underdeveloped or maybe even lacking. Think of them less as tactics and more as parts of an internal operating system that allow leaders to stay grounded and effective in a VUCA world. The first of the 5 is relating. Think of it as building a team people want to win for. Let's start with a simple question. Do people feel better after interacting with you, or more guarded? Relating is your ability to build trust, real trust, with the humans around you, your team, your customers, your partners. It's what determines whether people give you compliance or commitment. And early on, founders can brute force results. You can push, you can compensate people for it, you can even muscle things forward. But growth exposes everything. When trust is low, people withhold information. Problems show up late. Energy leaks everywhere. The business becomes heavier than it needs to be. Trust, on the other hand, acts like an oil in your engine. Everything moves more smoothly, faster, and with less wear and tear. The takeaway here is if you want performance that lasts, you don't start with pressure, you start with relationship. Number 2, self-awareness. Stop being the bottleneck. Here's a hard question most leaders avoid. What if the biggest constraint in your business is you, and you just can't see it yet? Self-awareness is the ability to look in the mirror without flinching, to understand your patterns under pressure, your triggers, your blind spots. In our book, Fulfilled, Catherine and I talk a lot about symptom management, solving the obvious problem while missing the real one underneath. A lack of self-awareness almost guarantees that cycle continues. It's like driving with a foggy windshield. You can still move forward, but you'll overcorrect, miss signals, and eventually hit something you didn't see coming. The takeaway here is your business will never outgrow your leadership. Let me say that again. Your business will never outgrow your leadership, and your leadership won't grow without awareness. That's important to remember. Number 3, authenticity. Lead without the mask. Let me ask this plainly. Are you leading with courage or managing your image? Authenticity is when your values and your actions match, even when it's uncomfortable. Cultures don't usually break down because of bad strategy. They erode through small compromises that go unaddressed, conversations that never happen, standards that quietly slip. People sense it when something's off. They may not say it, but they feel it. They're thinking it. Authentic leaders don't just read the room, they set the temperature. They deal with reality, they speak clearly, and because of that, trust accelerates. The takeaway here? People don't trust what you say, they trust who you consistently show up as. Number 4, systems awareness. Stop fighting the same fires. Let's be honest. How many times have you solved the same problem already? Systems awareness is the ability to see your business as a whole, not just as a series of urgent episodes. It's recognizing patterns instead of reacting to symptoms. Entrepreneurs are especially vulnerable to this because urgency feels productive. Firefighting creates motion. But when the same fires keep breaking out, it usually means the system is broken. It's actually reinforcing the problem, even when good people are working hard. This is the shift from mopping the floor to fixing the leak, if you know what I mean. So the takeaway here is you don't need more hustle, you need a better machine. You need better systems. Number 5, achieving. Turn vision into results without burning everyone out. Finally, we get to achieving. Yes, results matter. Execution matters. Momentum matters. But here's the distinction. Creative leadership achieves results without sacrificing health, values, or relationship in the process. A lot of leaders can grow a company, but fewer grow one that they actually enjoy running. Achieving in this framework is about clarity, focus, and follow through. It's about turning we should into we did consistently. Not in panic mode, not through heroics, but through alignment. Takeaway here? Ideas don't scale companies. Execution does, but only when it's aligned. Now we need a simple way to hold it all together. Here's the framework in plain English. Relating. Builds trust so people want to follow you. Self-awareness. Keeps you from becoming the bottleneck. Authenticity. Creates a culture people actually believe in. Systems awareness makes growth repeatable instead of exhausting. And achieving turns vision into real measurable progress. This is what creative leadership looks like in practice. And over the next episodes of the Leadership Contrarian, we'll go deeper into each one because none of these live in isolation. They reinforce each other or they break down together. Now it's your turn. If this resonated, I'd encourage you to do one thing this week. Don't ask what I should push harder on. Ask which of these 5 areas needs strengthening right now in my own leadership. That question alone changes how leaders lead and how businesses grow. And I'd love it if you would put your answers in the comments below. I really want to know which one or more stood out to you. So until next time, I'm Michael Redman. Stay grounded, stay growing, and God bless. And thanks for watching.